Hey everybody, I'm Seth V for the Knife Center, and I'm excited today because the coolest knives of the week are sitting right in front of me. Let's get into it. And today we're starting off strong with an exclusive release from Demko Knives. This is the AD20i. Now, a lot about this knife should be familiar to you. The AD20 has been a best-selling, extremely popular, and frankly very hard to get knife from Demko Knives. The AD20 is the full-sized version of the original Shark Lock design, and this new version was made, it's kind of a transatlantic partnership going on, made to help meet the exceptional demand for these knives. So these blades are made in Italy, and they're paired with USA-made handles that have been assembled, finished, and I believe even sharpened in Demko's Pennsylvania shop. So these are $425. They have 20 CV blade steel, and they feel, frankly, indistinguishable from the AD20 that you know and love. The Shark Lock has that fantastic flickable action, ambidextrous, very strong, and the design is exceptional for hard use without being too oversized to actually want to carry and use every day. The other thing that's new about these knives is the blade shape. This features a drop point blade, which might arguably be the best all-around shape we've ever seen on the AD20. You know, it's strong, you still got good precision with the tip, but you can also do the kind of cuts kind of upside down with that drop point. Get a little bit of leverage against that curve of the spine. I don't know, a drop point is just endlessly useful and really rounds out the utility of the platform. So in addition to the black G10, we also have it in gray, same price of course. They both feature that kind of diamond checkered texture. Good amount of grip. It's fairly aggressive, but not abrasive. So really locks you in place, but it doesn't chew up your skin. So as of now, KnifeCenter is the only place that you can get these knives. We basically have the whole first run of them. So definitely head over to the website and pick one up now. They're still in stock as of this video, but stock's going down relatively quickly, so I wouldn't wait too long. We hope that this new run of them will give people a chance to actually manage to get one. Next up is a new design by Jesper Voxnes for MKM. This is the new Vincent. It is a liner lock with Magna Cut steel, 2.75 inches of it to be precise, and available now with a selection of micarta handles. This one is the denim canvas micarta, I think looking rather good. To me, this incorporates a lot of Jesper's signature sort of design touches, but in a more playful, a little bit more exaggerated design that's going to be really fun to use every day. So for carry, there is a wire pocket clip, and it is ambidextrous for left or right side use. You got this oversized lanyard hole here that mirrors the shape of the deployment hole in the blade. It also has a flipper, works great for deployment, and a forward finger choil to give you a few more ergonomic options. Got a sort of a run of jimping pushed forward onto the blade that really encourages you to choke up on this thing, which I think is going to be great to put this really big belly to work. You could initiate a cut with the heel of the blade, carry it through a slice all the way down. This angle at the tip, you're still going to be kind of in contact with whatever you're cutting. Just a ton of different angles of attack, if you will, that you can use with this blade. Great for long cuts, curving through something, great for sort of skinning work, where you're nipping away at something bit by bit. It's fun to have a blade like this in your collection, especially if you have a lot of Wharncliffe or sheepsfoot type blades. You know, a big belly is going to give you something different to play with, and in Magna Cut steel, you're going to have great performance as well. Also new from MKM is, well, several versions of the Eclipse, also designed by Jesper. This one features Ultim scales. It's got MagnaCut blade steel and a really cool low-profile flipper tab that still works fantastically well. Sometimes a low-profile flipper tab can be a little finicky, but the way this one is well ahead of the pivot. You got tons of leverage, never missed a flip on this thing, and there's also a small opening hole that you can pretty easily use your thumb with to open as well. So I pulled the Ultim because it is kind of the most different of these new variations. There's also one with really decked out in Damasteel with titanium onlays. There's a new carbon fiber one, but I like the Ultim because you can see right through it to the MKM mountaintop logo there. In the regular versions, it's kind of cut out at the end of the scale here, but on the Ultim, they went ahead and put it into the liners, and you can just see through the onlays right to that logo. It's a cool use of the material. I like people playing up the transparency of Ultim. And even though it's a pretty slick material, they've cut some grooves in here to give you some extra grip, which I really appreciate too. I really like the blade shape on this too. It is a drop point, question mark, because the spine actually does rise slightly. Maybe it's got a little bit of Nessmuck DNA in there, but drop muck, sure. In practice, it's going to work like a drop point though. A relatively long belly, but not super broad. Just well-rounded, great blade shape, but still with some personality. For carry, we've got a folded pocket clip here at the end. Not ambidextrous, but it is a liner lock, which is not ambidextrous to begin with. So lefties, you're gonna have to adapt or find something else, but most people are gonna have a great time carrying this knife. The next knife on the table is dropping today and should be in stock as of now. It is a fresh version of the GiantMouse Biblio XL. These come in at $245 and they feature Vanitas 4 blade steel, contoured blue G10 handles, black PVD coated hardware, and blade to match. The Biblio XL is very, very similar to the design that first launched the GiantMouse brand, which is a collaborative effort between Jesper Voxnes, who designed the previous two knives on the table, and Jens Anso, who actually designed the last knives on the table today. But together, I think they really bring out the best in each other. GiantMouse does phenomenal work, and the Biblio XL is probably one of my favorite designs from the brand yet. I think the slightly larger proportions of this knife work really great, allowing it to be used both in the sort of rearward grip here. I've got 4 fingers on here with the pinky resting on that little tail of the knife. And I can also choke up. The finger choil is wide enough that I'm very comfortable using it in a full-fisted grip. And the jimping accommodates kind of choking up too, being sort of halfway up the blade here. I appreciate that they've given a coating to this blade steel. Vanitas is a European-made equivalent, roughly, of 4V steel, which is a tool steel, not technically stainless, so the coating is going to get you some added protection. These are made in Italy, and they have fantastic, smooth flipping action and flicking action. However you open this knife, it's definitely a pleasure to use. The blade geometry is phenomenal. These are broad for a nice gradual edge, very thin grind. It's going to be a mean slicer and is even pretty usable on a cutting board. So despite the flipper tab sticking out there, I can get all but the last, I don't know, 1/4 inch of edge down. Yeah, really great design, kind of refined after years and years of development. The Biblio XL is just such a sweet, sweet package. Next up, some new arrivals from Jackwolf Knives. This is the mini Cyborg Jack, and it will be available tomorrow. But we wanted to show it today because the Cyborg Jack has been one of the most requested designs from Jack Wolf. I think one of their strongest designs, frankly. And in this new mini version, I think it's going to make a lot of people happy. These feature roughly 2 3/4 of an inch of S90V blade steel, titanium frames, and very cool handle inlays. Pulled a couple of the wildest ones here to show off. The black and pink one features pink kieranite, and the top one is chaotic resin. I think they really suit the character of the Cyborg Jack, you know, with its exaggerated, slightly angular handle shape, the cool clip point blade. It's one of Jack Wolf's more outside the box traditional designs, even though those terms kind of contradict each other. I think it comes together to make something really special here. The ergonomics are very comfortable, even though the handle looks angular. There's just tons of work put into these with every little chamfer to ease the edges as you push it into your hand and turn it around in different grips. Yeah, very comfortable, surprisingly so. Of course, they have Jack Wolf's outstanding snappy action, opening and closed. Stiff springs, very reassuring for a slip joint you're actually going to want to use. You know, in use, these just stay rock solid. And S90V delivers top tier edge performance. Fantastic edge retention, great stainlessness. A lot of finishing work has gone into these. I mean, the hand rubbed finish on the S90V steel has got to be tough to achieve with the wear resistance of that stuff. The tolerances are ultra precise, totally flush. Not only in the open position, but also at the half stop and closed. Just rock solid construction on these. The price is $299, and like every other Jack Wolf release, they come with a very special, unique packaging. So here we have the mini Cyborg Jack in all of its glory. These also come with a pocket slip and a pog. The next knife on the table is kind of special. It's not technically a slip joint, but it isn't technically a locking knife either. This is the Mikov Kosta. I've heard this style of knife referred to as funny folders, and this is how it works. So they kind of operate in 3 dimensions here. You swing the one half of the handle up over the blade, and then closed back into the handle that way. You'll have to forgive my fingerprints all over this thing. It's a very highly polished item, but I think it's really, really satisfying how this thing looks when it's closed, when it's open, and how it operates. Kosta is apparently Czech for cube, which makes sense because this thing is very symmetrical when folded up and has flat sides like a cube on its handle when it's open. So the cube theme of this knife continues onto the blade. If you look straight on, the blade stock is actually cube shaped, and they've cut the blade right from one corner to the other. So it kind of cuts diagonally across the cube there. Gives it a natural sort of swedge at the top there, and a really cool plunge grind that widens out to show off the cubular shape. These are just beautiful, frankly. Really cool, kind of, you know, yes, sort of a novelty in how they work, but beautifully made, really, really artistic, pleasant to look at, pleasant to hold, and they only cost $34.95. So I don't know how many we have of these. I wouldn't be surprised if they sell out quickly, and I hope we're able to get more because I have no need for this, but it's such a pleasant knife, such a cool design. I'm kind of half tempted to get one myself, frankly. So I'm gonna put this down before I talk myself into buying a new knife today. We can talk about the next thing on the table, which is another rather unique little fixed blade. This one's authentically a fixed blade. This is the CJRB Cutlery Chip. So these are $37.95. They feature RPM 9 blade steel and come with a selection of handle inlays. This little thing, we're calling it a neck knife, but there's no real way to carry it around your neck. It's definitely made to be slipped in the pocket with the included pocket sheath here. Goes in like so, with the lanyard sticking out. I bet you if you got used to this, you could even pull this out of the slip without taking it out of your pocket, which is kind of cool. So there's really no getting around this knife's dimensions. It is very much a mini knife. It's got 1.2 inches of blade. The way that this feels most comfortable for me to use is in a pinch grip. The G10 scales give me some good traction, make that work. I can get the other fingers kind of wrapped around the end of the handle and the lanyard, and even get one finger up over the top. This would be a great little package opener, you know, getting through clam packs, just the little utility cuts that you do throughout the day. It's going to be fun to have a unique tool like this to make it happen. So these are available in a number of different variations. If the black and white is not your style, they come in like a stone washed with green micarta. We've got carbon fiber inlays. We've also got stone washed with black carbon fiber. Everything is hovering right around that $38, $40 price range. Pretty cool little mini fixed blade here. Next up, some new versions of the Pyrite Bowie have arrived. We had a KnifeCenter exclusive version of this drop a couple weeks back, I believe, with our signature titanium bolster and black micarta. But now they're here in slightly more stripped down configurations. So this costs $52.95. RPM 9 blade steel with stainless steel handles. As you can see, this has an all-over black stone-washed finish. I quite like the looks of it. Gives it a rugged demeanor to match the Bowie blade. Also, it might just be me, but I'm feeling a little bit of extra grip on the handles too. Maybe they kind of blasted this before they tumbled it or something, but there's a little bit more tactility here. It's working for me for sure. And if you're worried about the stainless steel handles being over heavy, I don't think that's the case. They've been really aggressively skeletonized inside, so they still offer a pretty nice overall weight. Not quite as lightweight as the other versions, but it doesn't throw off the balance, in my opinion. Yeah, the Pyrite is just, it's been a hit for obvious reasons. It's a great looking knife. It works great. The button lock, phenomenal action. Look at that. Almost like it has an assist on the close. It just, button is so satisfying to use. With the Bowie too, you're gonna have a couple more deployment options. You can kind of finger flick that fuller. Oh, had my other finger in the way. There we go. Yeah. I think it's cool to have this new blade shape. It's a good complement to the other ones. It's quite different. The tip is very aggressive with that dramatic clip point there, but still very usable for day-to-day. Next up, a couple of new arrivals from Leatherman. This is the new Skeletool KB, and it is only technically a multi-tool because there's a bottle opener integrated into that pocket clip. But other than that, this is just a knife, a pocket knife from Leatherman. This design has been on the market before, but what's really new about this is the colors. There's a bunch of new options. There's a tan and black, there's a two-tone blue, I think there's a new green one. This is the Paradise version with a kind of teal and pink theme going on. I think it works pretty well. You know, if you want wild colors, you know, now you can get it on a Leatherman tool. Pretty nice to see. The blade steel on these is 420HC. Got a liner lock for deployment, and they come in at $40. But I think what I'm personally even a little more excited about are the new Skeletool CX colors. So the CX version of the Skeletool has always had the upgraded blade steel. So these have 154 cm. They also have a plain edge instead of the combo edge. Now we've got a bunch of new colors to pick from. This is the verdant scheme going on. We got the green and the kind of navy blue here. I think it looks quite good. Of course, it's that Skeletool you know and love. The lightweight, the unique asymmetrical pliers design, and the same tool set. Pliers, driver, bottle opener / carabiner, pocket clip. I think that's it. Is that it, Thomas?
Mostly.
Thomas carries one of these, or used to carry one of these pretty much every day, so he's very familiar with the platform. But the Skeletool is awesome. I don't think I need to tell you much more about it. It is just a capable but still minimal Leatherman tool. All right, the next thing on the table is not a knife, but a driver. A new mini driver from Olight. This is the Otacle D2. D2, not like the steel, but D2 like as in driver 2, I guess. These are really cool. We've been kind of passing these around the office between some people getting their takes on it. It is just a driver. You know, there's not a bunch of other multi-tool capabilities tacked onto this, but as a driver, it's really well thought out. First of all, you got a pocket clip. You've got a lock on the back, which keeps the slide that you've seen me fiddling with from coming open, whether the tool is in use or in your pocket. And then inside, you have a selection of those mini bits, which are easy to get out. And then to make use of this, you've got 2 places to insert the bit, here at the end, or for extra leverage, here at the back. Pretty sweet, pretty simple, but really nicely designed. A pleasure to use. The slide is held in place. Well, it's captured at the end so it won't slide off, and then it's kind of held in place by magnets in several positions on its way closed. I get the feeling that a lot of people are going to be fidgeting with this if you carry it. Yeah, satisfying. It's got that magnetic detent kind of feel as it slips into each position. Really nice looking too. These are available in titanium or aluminum, both with a very nice marbled carbon fiber inlay, for either $39 for this version or just under $80 for the titanium version. Pretty compelling little, almost said multi-tool, multi-driver from Olight. All right, next up, a couple new ones from Toor. This is the Forloh Merlin. So apparently, I wasn't aware of this, but Forloh is a outdoor apparel brand, and they've collaborated with Toor here on this ultralight hunting knife. These come in at $250. They have CPM 154 blade steel, gut hook, as you can see, and Toor's, excellent attention to detail and fit and finish, just in a kind of minimal hunting knife package. For carry, these have a Kydex sheath, which keeps the whole package quite slim. So however you're gonna work this into your kit, it's gonna slip in there pretty easily. Let's check for TechLock compatibility here. Oh yeah, no problem. That's gonna work with any standard TechLock style attachment. These are quite light. I might even call them ultralight at just 1.8 ounces. That's actually less than a fair few folders with this blade length. So for that weight, you're still getting 3.5 inches of blade and a gut hook and a decently comfortable handle too. The paracord wrap comes standard. I think you either get orange or black straight out of the box. Nice jimping, works quite well. Nicely executed sharpening choil. Going to be easy to maintain this blade for field sharpening. Nicely integrated gut hook too. Sometimes they can feel a little awkward, but I think this has managed to keep the overall drop point silhouette so more or less intact, but still give you really good access to that gut hook there. Yeah, a cool new ultralight USA made hunting knife option. And if fishing is more your speed, Toor also has you covered with this new Avalon fillet knife. These have 9 inches of CPM 154 steel. They come in at $250 and are available with either blue or orange G10 handles. I can't remember if Toor has made a fillet knife before, but this is a really nicely designed one. The blade has some flexibility to it, which is very much appreciated in a true dedicated fillet knife. Really slender and just a bit upturned, which is what you want for those, getting around those delicate bones and across a big piece of fish there. CPM 154 makes a great choice for a fillet knife. It's stainless, but thanks to the particle metallurgy process, it's also a fair bit more tough than a traditionally, ingot-made stainless steel. So it's going to hold up, it's going to hold that really thin edge quite well. Yeah, with its thin blade stock and even thinner edge, this thing is a laser beam for sure. Nice grippy handle, kind of sculpted texture there to grab you back, even with wet hands. I quite like the blue with the green liners contrasting. There's something aquatic about that I think just works, but if you want even more visibility, you could opt for the orange. All right, and the last knives on the table are a whole new series of kitchen knives from MKM. This is the new Prima series. So these are all designed by Jens Anso, and they're all, I think, his take on the Japanese blade styles. This one is a Gyuto, which similar to a Santoku in some ways, but a little bit longer with more of a point. A Gyuto is, I would say, most similar in use to a Western chef's knife. So it's got that length, it's got a little bit more kind of rocking shape, and here Jens Anso's version is very much a rocking blade. Look at that upsweep of that belly there. I think, doing those kind of chops through herbs or down through materials, you got a lot of angle to work with there. You can get up quite high, even without getting all the way to the point of this thing. These feel simple, but very refined. So the designs, the silhouette of them, there's nothing complex about them. The handles have been chamfered, but still have some nice shape, kind of in this direction. They swell a little bit in the middle. And the edges have all been nicely rounded. So even though the scales are letterbox and you can feel the tang of the blade, it's a nice, reassuring, kind of soft feel. There's no edges to these handles. Works great in a pinch grip thanks to that crown spine. Very comfortable. Nice package. Kind of a unique character to these, but still very much in line with proven great kitchen knife designs. Let's look at the Santoku next. So as you can see, compared to that Gyuto, the tip is a fair bit more chopped on this one. Of course, it's also shorter with just 7.5 inches of blade. So this has the zircote wood handles. You can choose between either this or olive wood, as you saw on the previous knife. They all have the same shape though, so the profile is, like I said, it's beveled, it's comfortable. Actually kind of tapers from the spine down towards your fingers, so it's not egg-shaped, but it gives you a similar feel in the hand. Very nice to grip for sure. Of course, in a pinch grip, it's great. And this one doesn't rock quite as much, but it's still going to get those types of chops done. Santoku's a great knife, great all-arounder, kind of a little bit easier to work with, a little less intimidating, less likely to penetrate something accidentally with that point. The price on these is $130, which is actually the same as the Gyuto, so you can take your pick as your sort of primary knife here. And then you can pick up one of these paring knives for $105. So this little guy has 4 inches of blade. I really like the shape on this. It is not quite a trailing point, but you've got a pretty continuous curve to the edge. And one thing about this design, I really love when paring knives do this. You can still get the whole thing down on a cutting board. So, if you're making something quickly, you don't want to get the whole chef's knife set out, you don't want to grab a big knife, you can still, You know, the ability to get the whole edge on a cutting board allows you to do a lot more with a paring knife design like this. And it's still not over large or over broad to make actual paring tasks any more difficult. Really, really well thought out here. Same handle profile, works great. I haven't mentioned the blade steel yet. It is X50CRMOV 15, which is a lot of characters back to back, but it's basically just a, I believe, German or Austrian made stainless steel, pretty commonly found on kitchen knives. You know, good stuff. High stainlessness, rather tough, not the best edge retention, but easy to touch up and keep sharp. And last is a steak knife set. So if you order these, you're going to get 2 knives for $192. And this kind of rounds out the complete kitchen knife set for you. So you've got your cooking knives, and now you got your table knives. These are really beautiful. In a pinch, this could even be a paring knife, but it's getting to be a little long for that. These have 4.6 inches of blade, so made more for slicing on a plate, I would say, as you'd want from a steak knife. But, you know, I think Jens has really managed to distill everything you'd want out of a full kitchen knife set into just these handful of designs. You got your big knife, your paring knife, and your table knives. Perfect little set here. All right, we've reached the end of the table, which means it's time to wrap things up for today. If you want to get your hands on any of these knives, click the links in the description. They're going to take you to KnifeCenter.com. And remember about our knife rewards program, because if you're going to spend your money on any of these knives, you may as well get some free money to spend on your next one. And with that, I've been Seth V for the Knife Center, filling in for David. That's Thomas behind the camera. We'll see you next time. Take care.